My people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And Bell ain't here, but my name is Prentice.
Bell is doing the work thing right now, you know what I'm saying? So Prentice and I
Shout out to
gotta
Bell though.
shout out to Bell. Prentice and I gotta tackle this job alone tonight, but we good for it. Anyway, Pete, what's good? What's happening?
What's
How you
up,
be? How you
bud?
living? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm cool. Well actually I'm not cool. Let me not lie. So a couple weeks ago, I hurt my back doing an exercise wrong in Pilates and I had
Doctor said I
pinched a
need a
nerve.
backiotomy.
That nigga. So I was 95% healed, and when we dipped out last weekend or last week, Thursday, late Thursday night, we had to go to Atlanta. Siraj's cousin had a wedding. Shout out to Jody and Will. And I had a show on Sunday at the City Winery. Shout out to Queen Sheba for bringing me out there. But on the plane, the plane rides ain't really that comfortable, bro. So it like re-aggravated that shit. So it was fucking me while we were out there. But yesterday, 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up in hella pain, man, and like literally collapsed on the floor, man. Like I was
Damn.
on the floor for 45 minutes in the worst pain of my life. So I got this sciatica, man. And it's been killing me for a solid like 3 weeks. So I've been in like the worst pain ever, bro. Like for real, man. Like this shit is the most pain I've ever felt. So outside of that, I'm trying to maintain, man. I don't even know where to go because it's like a couple of things that I'm feeling, but I'm gonna wait until we start talking. But outside of sciatica, bro, the kids is back. We back home. Everybody's back together. It's chaos upstairs right now. So I'm in Tip's room doing this shit to get away from all that. But we'll get into everything else later, man. That's just a quick check in.
No doubt. For me, man, all is well. I'm so busy. It's like I can't even eh, I don't get home until 9:30 every night. I'm out moving and shaking all day long. It's work. It's like today I leave work, I go pick up my boys for an hour and a half. We go eat something, have some ice cream. I gotta go pick Bubba up from volleyball practice to take her an hour away to softball practice. And then when that's done, we got to come all the way. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like they practice for 2.5 hours. So, and it's an hour ride. So it's like I'm not home. And that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know what I'm saying? And Fridays is the same thing. Hang on my boys for a minute. Got a gig tomorrow night. So it's like I only get a chance, a minute with the kids. Saturday got a joint. Sunday got a joint. I just been busy, man. You know what I'm saying? Trying to promote this album and get this Grammy nomination. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just busy and I'm exhausted. B. I'm super, super tired. I'm
What
doing this.
what
My Niners is playing right now. I'm doing this. I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? So, your boy's just busy, man. Just
what's the
busy.
difference between? I mean, if I keep it real, but you're always hella busy. Like, and you're always like go until you go to bed. So what's the difference now?
I I'm focused. I'm locked in. So before I was, I got more wiggle room. Now there's no wiggle room with being an hour away and not being able to see my boys as much. And then with this Grammy run right now, like that's a lot of my energy is going into that. So it's an
Mhm.
energy thing for me right now. That's what I think it is.
I
It's
feel
an
you. Yeah,
energy
like,
thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm emailing and texting and calling and FaceTiming and Google Meeting and you know what I mean, all of the above right now, just trying to make it happen. So it's just a lot, man. That's all.
how you feel about the traction on it so far for the campaign? Because
I feel good.
I felt like the whole time last year when I was going for that shit, I just felt like I was shooting in the dark, but like the whole time. There's no barometer to measure your success until voting and until
So
announcements, until nominations.
right. So I'm gonna say this. I feel good only because I had a plan and I'm following my plan.
Mm,
Everything I said I was gonna do, I'm doing. I have all the content created already, and I'm just doling it out as it comes. It's all itemized on my sheet. This time, this day, this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I can only, do what I got planned out and hope that it works for the best. You know what I'm saying?
right.
I know a handful of voting members, so I'm tapping into them, hoping I get their, you know, their vote or whatever. But other than that, I'm just hitting the channels like I'm supposed to, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and we'll see what happens, man. But I
I
feel
feel
good
it,
because I'm
bro.
doing what I plan to do, and that's all I can do.
I
I'm
feel
I'm
you.
staying I'm staying to my plans. I'm not looking at it going, yo, you could have did better here. Like you had what you had, you did what you did, you made a plan, what you got, and you're good. You know what I'm saying? So if for some reason it falls short, like I know I put I put into this. What would I do differently? Maybe start a little earlier next year, you know what I'm saying, with the campaign run or whatever. But right now I'm feeling good about everything.
That's good, bro. That's good, man. I imagine that would make me feel better about my shit too. If I would have had a fucking plan, nigga. We did that shit. I just had an idea. I was like, all right, this is what we about to do. All right, this is what we about to do. We would just do
Right.
that shit. But I'd have probably felt way better had I had a plan. Next time, I'm for sure gonna do like you have a plan.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So next time it's just it can only be bigger and better next time. You know what I'm saying? We learn from these, and this continues to level up. Like you've seen the content I've been pushing, man. Like I'm
Yeah,
trying to
shit's
just
quality.
trying to keep it going, man. So
Yeah, but
that's
that
where
shit
I'm
is
at.
quality. Sarai I was walking down the stairs just now to log on. She was like, "Chief's all of his production is really really good, like really good."
Well, that's why I appreciate that, but I mean, you got to step it up if you're trying to do big things. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. And everybody stepped that shit up this year. But yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm
No
glad.
doubt.
I'm
So
glad to see
Pete,
the motion.
appreciate you, bro, and I appreciate your support. You sharing my stuff, and you know what I'm saying. All that stuff makes a difference, bro. You know what I'm
Hell
saying? So
yes, yeah, hell yeah, it does. It's automatic, blood. I'm about to go to only posting your shit. That's where we at now. We got a couple days of voting. I'm about to
Nah,
only post your shit.
yeah, I did some voting. It was cool, bro. I can't front yo. Like a lot of that stuff is just like the poets is writing, the poets is putting some stuff together. So it's real dope to see all the projects and listen to all the
Yeah,
stuff, and it's real cool. Like having this member access is kind of cool because you just get it. You feel in the circle. You know what I'm
I
saying?
told
Even
you it's
even though
different than
you're
last
yeah,
year, huh? You ain't
yeah,
shooting for the 3 point. You
yeah,
at the free throw line.
it's a little bit different now. But yeah, man, I wanted to jump into. I know you got to run soon, so let's jump into it, Pete. I don't know if you know, but today is World Mental Health Day, bro.
Yeah, man. I
World
did know
Mental
about
Health
that.
Day, and I think it's super. I don't know how long it's been how long we've had a World Mental Health Day. I would like to look that up. You should probably do that research or whatever. But I think that's pretty dope that it's a World Mental Health Day, and we take the time to acknowledge this stuff. And I thought the best thing for us to talk about today would be why, yo. We're probably 120 some episodes in now, which is dope. Shout out to us because a lot of podcasts don't make it that far. But
Hmm.
we're 120 some episodes in, man, and I think it's good to double back on why we're here. Like, why do all black men need therapy? You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you this. I like to start with a little story piece. So about a month ago, Bella and I were trying to find a newer space for us to record in when you come down.
Hmm.
Nice little podcast space. So we visited a joint like 30 minutes from me, and it was nice, cool spot or whatever. So they only had like one set of headphones or something like that. So something prevented us from going there, whatever. But I got the ABMNT shirt on. It says all black men need therapy on it. And it's the dude out front who's doing the maintenance, the yard work, the landscaping there. Black
Hmm.
dude, older black dude, probably late 50s maybe. And I walk out and he's like, "Hey brother, what your shirt say? All black men need therapy." I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Come on, man, we don't do that shit."
Damn, for real? You didn't say
Yeah,
about that.
straight like that. Straight like
And
that.
Bell was here too.
No, Bell was late.
All
But
right.
the dude was like, "We don't play that shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know," which is exactly why we need it, bro. And he's
Damn.
like, "But what's that gonna do for me talking to somebody?" I'm like, "Listen, man, like you know what we go through, and we having this conversation. I'm like, you know what we go through on a daily basis, bro. Like we be ready to tee off on people all the time. So what happens, you know? So what happens in that moment when so and so says something to you, and you got to respond in a way, that we normally respond. You got to go up top on him, like, yes, I'm just gonna have to lay him out. I'm gonna have to do what I got to do. And I said, yeah, right. So now your family loses a man right there because now you got to go to jail. Now I ain't going to jail. So he's like, I ain't going to jail. Basically implied that he would off himself before he had to go to
Right.
jail. And I'm like,
Crazy.
either way, they lose you. He's like, they're gonna be straight. Yeah, they're gonna be straight, but they ain't gonna have you.
Mm.
And then we went back and forth for a while, and I kind of got him. I like had to break down the snare about how my brother was murdered over nothing and blah 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 blah. And he kind of like, I can kind of see where you come from. I said, man, so if you just got some of that anger out talking to somebody, it ain't got to be a therapist, but if you got some of that out somewhere, the next time somebody say something to you, make you want to go up top on them, you'll think about your people and pull back a little bit. All because you chose to speak, and it took him a minute to be like, you know what? Maybe you're right. I don't think I'm gonna go, but I can see where you're coming from, is what he said. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, hey, that's a step in the right direction, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a step in the right direction. And it was just, it was a testament. It like that conversation was a testament to why all black men need therapy, bro. Because he saw my shirt and was like low key offended.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying? Like,
fucking
bro,
crazy, man.
nah. He was like, nah. We don't play that shit. And I was just like,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know where to go with this. And he kind of like he was he was giving the resistance at first, bro. But I kind of had to like you know
Like
talk him
break
off
them
the ledge a
down.
little bit, man. But it was just it was a great conversation to have. And I really think I don't know if that brother's gonna go to therapy, but I think he's a little more receptive now.
I
A
hope
little
so,
bit.
man. Cause that sucks. Well, when you, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like how cats used to be with this poetry shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like, oh, niggas ain't trying to hear that poetry shit. You know what I mean? Like, damn,
mhm.
nigga, I ain't even, I ain't even do nothing. And in your case, you just got a t-shirt on. This nigga felt the need to. Damn, man, it's like some of our elders, but they are so fucking scarred and have no
Yes.
clue. They see a younger one and whatever it is that triggers them, man, like makes them feel the need to kind of like combat us on our own journey, but they don't even look at it that way. They're not even thinking about you. They just looking at the shirt. And I think that's like the clear sign of a trigger. You know what I'm saying? Like something about the idea of us getting help compels him to be like, we don't do that shit.
Right. Again, brothers feel weak when they ask for anything, let alone sincere mental help. We supposed to be strong. You know what I'm saying? And like he gave off the impression like, nah, I ain't for that. And I'm I'm too tough to not punch him in his face and too tough to go to jail. So I'm gonna just off myself.
Off
So
myself.
you know what I'm saying? That's the impression. That's he and I'm like, nah, brother. Like, so now they either way they losing you. And he's like, yeah, I can see it, but they're gonna be good. I'm like, yeah, but they're not gonna have you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then again, it kind of reasoned with him, but it's just like that's the epitome of why all black men need therapy, bro. We don't have these conversations. We ain't even looking at it like that. We thinking about offing ourselves for protecting ourselves or for snapping on somebody because we can get some shit off our chest.
That's wild, man. I wonder if that's like a generational thing, because like I swear, especially out here, like any black dude I make contact with, I tell them about the podcast. Like literally, like especially in this city here,
Hmm.
any black dude I see, if I make eye contact with him and say what's up or a head nod, I'm gonna double back and be like, yo, bro, I tell and I got the same spiel. I'll be like, yo, bro, I tell this to every black dude I see. Like every black dude I see. Me and my homies got a podcast. It's called All Black Men Need Therapy. And as soon as I say that, every time it's the same response. You see they kind of light up, like,
Hmm.
oh, you know what I'm saying? Like whether they fronting or not, and I don't get the gist that they fronting, but most of them usually, and they be in our age bracket or younger, you know what I'm saying? And even the older
Hmm.
brothers, to tell you the truth, I haven't met one that was like outwardly resistant to the title of our podcast. You know what I mean? They
Hmm.
typically seem, and it's usually like a icebreaker, like a conversation starter, because a lot of them be like, you know what, we hella do.
Right.
I ain't gone or nothing, or but everybody's usually like, damn, that's what's up. Like it's something about it touches them.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like our generation is
So
we I don't know, we weren't raised on the same shit they was on, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Or
but
if we were, we realize how it's not healthy.
I don't even think today we're raising our kids with the I don't know I don't know some emphasis on therapy. I think we're raising our kids now, you and I specifically, to have a little bit more emotional intelligence, emotional
I feel
awareness.
you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Than we did, and to be okay with their emotions rather than having to put that machismo on. But I still don't know if like they're young, so we haven't really had the conversation about therapy. You know what I'm saying? But in the same
That's
breath,
what I was thinking too. Well, just I definitely would have to have that conversation with him about therapy. But I think what we're doing is we're trying to beat them to the punch. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
yes,
trying to indoctrinate them with the things so that I mean, therapy is never bad. Let me say that therapy is never bad, but in a way, we're trying to instill things in them so that they don't need therapy, quote unquote. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
So
right.
that they not fucked up to the point where they gotta go. You know what I mean? Like nothing's wrong with it, even if everything's okay. But I don't think we want our kids to be dealing with this shit that we dealing with, but so that emotional intelligence is key.
Right, right, right. Shout out to the Aspen Challenge. I'm San Diego. I'm using the journal. But yo, you said therapy is never bad. And one thing I was gonna write down was therapy is never bad. There may be bad therapists. And don't let that ruin your therapy experience. Like every plumber ain't good, bro.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Every mechanic ain't good. So if you go to a mechanic and he mess your car up, you find another mechanic. You don't just throw the car away.
right.
You dig what I'm saying? So it's similar to with therapy. You dig what I'm saying? Like every therapist ain't good. Find one that works for you and helps you get the job done.
Yeah, but I think one though, cause like I think about when my last relationship went to relationship counseling, like therapy for like couples,
Hmm.
and I was so apprehensive, and I think this is what happens with a lot of us. I was so apprehensive about going like this shit ain't gonna help. You know what I mean? Like I was already in that
Hmm.
shit. This shit ain't gonna help phase. So when I went and that shit didn't do nothing the first time, and I didn't like the therapist, I was
Nigga
like,
went to one session and was like,
you
yeah,
know, I was like, I ain't going back. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what happens to a lot of us. It takes so much like courage and strength, and we gotta drop our guard so heavy that we go. And if that shit don't work the first time, we like fuck this shit. I knew I was right. You know what I mean?
right,
So we
right,
kind
right.
of revert back to them old feelings and just hold on to that shit rather than like you said, find a new mechanic.
Hmm. So when we talked about we're talking about why, and obviously we know, but if that older gentleman that I was talking to is sitting right here and says, why do I need therapy? Why do all black men need therapy, Prentice?
I would ask them, why don't you? And that's the question. Like real shit. Like if you could sit up here and answer why you don't need therapy. Like genuinely, like why don't you need therapy? And if he could list off some shit that in my mind to me sounded valid, then I mean I couldn't do anything about it. But the answer to why, we're fucked up, more fucked up than most. We can be healthy, we can have a good life. I think we can find peace internally. And I'm just thinking about myself. Like I'm on a really good track. I'm doing a lot of healing. I'm making a lot of healthier decisions for myself, for my family. But I'm still more fucked up than most, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And I can still look back and be like, there are a lot of things that I just kept to myself. That had I gotten off my chest or sought help for a lot earlier, I'd be a lot better off now. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's never too late, but I really do sometimes romanticize the idea of being this version of myself at 30. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if I
Hmm.
was this version of myself at 30, I would have saved myself some significant moments that I'm not even going to bring up right now because I talk about them too much. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
And
right. No, I
even
hear what
doing
you're
that
saying.
right there is growth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mentioning the same thing I always fucking mention, but if I was at this point at 30, I kind of like romanticize the idea of like where I'd be now.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like had I discovered self love at 30, what decisions would have made? What could I have prevented? And where would certain people in my life be now versus where they are now? You know what I
There,
mean?
there are several people who, at the age of 28, 29, 30, 35, think that they got it all together and believe
Hmm.
that their emotional intelligence and maturity, or even just in general, is is far superior than what it is. And
Hmm.
we are sadly mistaken because at 30, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't mature and responsible and emotionally intelligent. And you look back like you was an idiot
Mm.
at 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
At 30, you like, I'm a grown ass man. Like, yeah, you may be a grown ass man, but you got some healing to do, bro. You got
Yeah, that's funny.
some shit you need to iron out. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think for those of you around that, 25 to 35 year age, like there's still so much growth we have to do, guys. We feel grown and mature, but the older we get, the more we look back and be like, damn, I thought I had it then, but I ain't. That wasn't it. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
weird. I didn't. I knew at 30 I was full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I like for real, but I knew like I would do. Like right now I'm thinking like at 30 I was still doing dumb shit like in the apartment complex I lived in, dumping my whole vacuum bag in the little ashtray right outside the door, knowing I shouldn't do that shit. I was still doing shit like you know, like just little dumbass, ignorant ass shit, like shit that shows like nigga, you need to grow up. You know what I mean? And I felt I felt but at 30 like I couldn't fight it. Like I was doing fuck shit. Like I was doing a lot of fuck shit, but I was realizing my my potential. You know what I mean? Like it's different when everybody tells you, but when you start to realize it. I was realizing it, but I thought I was doing a lot of fuck shit. So for me, it wasn't like I knew I didn't have it all together. And I was actually worried for my future. Like, damn, what if I never stop doing this or never stop doing that? But I didn't get no help. I didn't get no coaching. I didn't get no training. I didn't talk to nobody. You know what I mean? Like I didn't do
Mhm.
none of that shit. And I really do wish that I would have, man, for my sake. You know, and I think a lot of us listening, a lot of y'all who listen to us, man, I'm proud of y'all for listening to us because simply for you listening to us talk, it shows that you're trying to pour into yourselves. You know, like y'all may enjoy us having these conversations and talk about our shit. Lord knows, you know, I'm gonna humanize your ass with the shit I be going through and talking about, but you know, to everybody listening to us, man, like you're pouring into yourself by doing this shit. And regardless of what age you are, you know, just recognize it. I think that's another thing we don't do, bro. Like we don't give ourselves credit or grace. Like I wish I would have went to counseling. I wish I'd have went to therapy back then, but I'm not beating myself up for not doing it. You
Mhm.
know, and a lot of times we won't do something and we'll beat ourselves up for the fact that we haven't done it. So it's like a double knife. We keep stabbing ourselves twice. You know what I mean? And I think that
We
shit is really unhealthy.
Yeah, we have a lot of, but there's so many underlying issues with us that we don't even that we may not even be aware of. And one of the things we talked about in the very first episode was like the whole man in the house situation when you were a child. Like we wore it as a badge of honor, and parents even thought it was a badge of honor, or moms thought it was a badge of
Mm-hmm.
honor to give to us, but not
Yep.
realizing the trauma that comes with that. Like when you look
Mm-hmm.
back at it, like why am I 8? You know, holding the house down by myself. You know, the
Yeah.
latchkey kids that lock the door, don't let anybody in, take the trash out, watch your brother and sisters. Like I'm 8.
Yeah. That was
You
me,
know what I'm
man.
saying? And at that time it was normalized for us, but that's traumatic as hell.
Yeah, but it is. And you know, like I think back then, like there's certain ways I think it was easier for our parents to do versus us doing that to our kids now. Like I was a latchkey kid at 6. I had a key on a shoelace around my neck, and I was getting into the house on my own and waiting for my mom to get off work, not opening the door, playing outside, whatever.
Hmm.
And I thought that was normal, but I feel like there was less access from predators in the 80s. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like there was,
Hmm.
versus now social media, like I spent my time playing Nintendo or playing outside because that's all you could do.
Hmm.
Versus now at that age, you're gonna be on the internet, you're gonna be on your phone, you're gonna be text messaging, and I think there's a lot more access to the world now. So what we had access to as latchkey children is vastly more limited to what our kids have access to.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like it kind of made it easier, and it makes sense to me in a way. Like I don't feel like parents got to do what they got to do in the '80s, but it makes sense in a way why they were comfortable enough to do it because it was still kind of primitive in a way, so to speak, compared to now.
I 100% don't disagree with you. I'm just talking about the repercussions of those actions
Right. Yeah.
that go unsaid, that we don't talk about, that parents may have been unaware of. You know what I'm saying? Like as
Yeah.
simple as that man of the house thing. Like again, we took pride in that shit, but we look back at it like, yo, like that was a lot. Like what happened to the child? Like a great portion of our childhood was pushed into adulthood.
Away. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
It
pushed to
was,
being
man. I
like
think the one.
I'm telling the girls like we going to back and forth to softball practice. I'm like, yeah, you just enjoy being a kid. Like you got
Right.
like enjoy being a kid. Have fun right now. We'll take care of the responsibilities. Y'all just do what you got to do because the responsibility is coming. You're going to be an adult much longer than you're going to be a kid.
Very true, man. And I think it's good that you're aware of that though, because some of us aren't. Some of us still are trying to indoctrinate our kid with womanhood, manhood at 12 years old, because that's what we were taught. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Yeah.
we necessarily break down like the detrimental effect of that. Like I look to shit, March 7th, 1989. I shit came home from school early. Left school, nigga, like that's 7 years old. What the fuck am I doing? Cause I had a headache. and walked home and stopped by, she wasn't my biological grandmother, but the woman who took me out my mom's hands and found her dead on the bed. You know what I mean? And broke through the glass, and she was dead on the bed, and I had to call the cops, and everybody came, and the whole apartment complex was outside, and there was nobody there to process with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even after, my mom just said she died in her sleep. And at the time, it made sense. And I'm reflecting back, like, there's no way she could have died in her sleep. She was dressed, you know what I'm saying? I could tell, the sandwich I had dropped on the floor that morning was still on the wall. And so it didn't make sense, but there was nowhere to process that shit for me. So my whole life, I don't know, I put that somewhere. And I think we're a lot more conscious as parents to know through the trauma that we've experienced that, even the slightest thing, not on that level for our kids, are things we actually take the time to sit down and talk to them about. You know what I mean? Because we actually think, okay, they look okay, they may be acting okay, but let me check in and make sure they're okay. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. So I'm thinking about when I was a kid. Like the reason why I don't drink, I don't know if I ever told y'all, but I watched two dudes fight when I was like
Nah.
9. I was like 9 years old. Remember the joint from A Living Color, Bonita Betrayal, who used to sit on the window. I ain't the one to
Well,
gossip, but
gossip,
you ain't
you
heard
ain't heard it from
it
me.
from me, right? Right. So I'm sitting on the windowsill like Shorty, and two dudes outside. No, a dude and his sister outside, and then the sister's boyfriend pulls up on a motorcycle. He's drunk, mind you, on a motorcycle, drunk. He starts going at it with the girlfriend's brother. They start fighting or whatever, and he pulls up on me, like not on me, but like right underneath me, and grabs a brick from like, look, he grabbed it like from right underneath, like almost like I handed it to him. Like he grabbed a brick from the building underneath me, turned around and clocked dude in the head with it. I remember the sound, like I could see it on I remember the sound of the brick hitting his head. I remember the the blood, like almost like you ever squeeze a ketchup pack and get that little like that, like
Mhm.
that's what it sounded like when the blood like rainbowed out of his head, and
Oh,
dude hit the ground. And I just remember that. And I remember saying to myself at 9 years old, like, yo, if that's what alcohol does to you, I never want to drink a day in my life. At nine
damn.
years old, I remember saying that's part of the reason why, that's the reason why I don't drink. And then that was right around, the whole dare movement and whatnot. So, what I'm saying? But that, honest to God truth as to why I don't drink. And there was, I didn't, it didn't register to me until like after college that was why I didn't drink, and how traumatic that was for me.
I was just gonna go there.
There wasn't an ounce of processing in that matter. Like I don't even think I ever even spoke to my mom about it. And when I tell her, if she's gonna watch the episode and she'll ask me, and I'm gonna tell her who it was and how it happened, and she'll be like, oh yeah, she'll be like, I remember that. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
and and she did she know, like, to this day, does she know you witnessed that?
I mean, she was there. She knows I witnessed it, but I don't think she's aware of the impact it had on me.
Right. That's where I was
You know what
gonna
I'm
go
saying?
next. And
So
I
it
was just
wasn't
gonna
like,
I was just gonna ask you, like, do you think, like, that's why you don't drink? But I was just gonna ask you, do you think that's a something you just looked at as a lesson and did not identify like the trauma in it? You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, you don't
oh,
drink as a result of that, but did it do more than just influence you drinking or not? You know what I mean?
no, the trauma I didn't realize until, like, again, moons later in my life. But it brings up a good point now, P. We should probably do more processing with our children in traumatic situations. And I'll give you a prime example. Like this, I don't think I've ever talked to her about this. So there's two houses next to each other. There's two driveways and a fence split in the driveways. And the fences, the driveways go back, and then there's parking lots in back of both of the houses, or like grass in back of both of the houses. And the driveways are split between, so there's a fence in the middle, two driveways, and then yards on both sides.
Hmm.
So the girls are on one side playing with a little bouncy ball or whatever. The ball bounces over the fence into the racist dude's like yard. Money takes the ball and walks to the back of his yard and puts it in the trash can.
of
It's like six little black girls playing on the other side of his fence. He takes the ball and puts it in the garbage. And the
oh
girls come
man,
in and they're like, they call me Papa. Like, Papa, he put the ball in the. I'm like, what are we talking about? I go over there and the dude's like washing his car, like nothing happened. And I'm just like, yo, did you throw the ball in the garbage? He's like, yeah, the ball came out yard. I put it in the trash. Like, he had an accent, whatever. I just walked into his yard and I walked into his yard. I went to the back and I opened the trash can. And as I'm walking, he like put his hands up and tried to stop me. And I like slapped his hand, like, get off me, don't touch me, bro. And just
right,
went to the back, grabbed the garbage cans. I mean, grabbed the ball and threw it over the fence and walked back into the yard. But when he put his hands up and I slapped his hand down, I hear Mia on the balcony, no, daddy, no, like screaming. Like she might have
mm-hmm.
been like 4 or 5.
Right,
And she's like, no, daddy, no. And I go upstairs and she's like shaking,
shaking
crying. You know what I'm saying? And she still remembers that to this day. And I'm just like, yo, I never processed with
that
what
imprint.
you know what I'm saying? Like she was like almost like in fear for her father's life at that point. And I never processed that moment with her. But I say that to say, like, there could be times when, like, I don't know, you driving and somebody cut you off and you're all arguing in the street or something like that, and the kids see that and you're thinking, okay, we good, but we don't realize
That shit
the
stay with them.
right. You know what I'm saying? And it could be many different things. You know, arguing with your lady at a certain point, and you know the kids happen to hear it, or arguing with
Uh-huh.
your mom or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna from this conversation, I'm probably gonna process and see like what have been some things that maybe I need to talk double back on my kids about, because at no point did my mom like, hey, you saw that? Like, how are you okay? You feeling you good? Like, nope. Again, I don't think it was more about resolving the situation, making sure dude was okay, making sure everybody, you know what I'm saying? It was never about the kids. It was getting, mediating that situation and not looking back at us. And I'm like, damn, now that I think about it, like, yo, I'm sure certain things have happened in my world where I need to double back and check on the babies for sure. For
And
sure.
today, a couple of hours ago, but so Tip still has school all week, but Anaya's been out of school since yesterday. So she's off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I couldn't get her from her mom yesterday. So she wanted to come back home. So I told her I'd get her today. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yo, I'll pick you up around 2, and then we'll go pick up your brother from school and then get your sister from daycare. She's like, all right, cool. So I didn't see her. I haven't seen Anaya for like almost a week because we were in Atlanta for like 4 or 5 days. So I'm dying to get her. So I get her. I make sure that I don't have no music on in the car when I first get her, because usually we just talk and catch up, boys, what's going on at school, just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She this shit this shit is fucking with me even now. So she says, so and so had a presentation and was really sad because we found out that like we had to do this presentation about name something that happened in your life, one, how it affected how you view things is two, and three, how it's impacted you now. So she was talking about how this girl in her class, her mother passed away, then her father started raising her and her sister. He had heart problems but kept drinking energy drinks, and it led to like a severe heart attack and he died. So now she lives with her grandmother. And her and her sister have the same father but a different mother. So now her sister is with the mother. So now she feels like really isolated, like she no longer has her parents and she doesn't have her sister. And I was like, damn, that's sad. And I was like, so what did you write about? And she was like, well, my topic was when you divorced my mom. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't give a reaction. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was your significant event. I was like, how did it impact you? And she was like, well, it just kind of showed me how, like, because I had both of you guys for the beginning of my life. But it kind of showed me how, things can kind of change and things aren't always what they appear to be. Like, I know you guys didn't expose me to everything, but when you have both of your parents and you're in the same household and things are different than when you're not. And especially living, it's different with you than it is with mom. Her mom is very, 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 very school oriented and time oriented. Like Anaya's schedule is and I was in school for 12 hours a day, and I hate that shit for her. So I've been trying to change it, but that's besides the point. So I know because her mother is a type A personality that there's certain things that I'm not as heavy on her about. But when we divorced, she was like 5, she's 11 now. I talked with her all the time. You know what I mean? I checked with her to see if she was okay. And at that age, she didn't really seem to grasp anything and didn't seem to be tripping. So it's crazy for me now that at 11, it's something that she's writing about that impacted her, how she views the world. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it wasn't necessarily a negative comment, but the fact that she picked something, like you said, that had to do with me, that's imprinted in her brain now that I thought we was good. This is 6.5, 7 years later. You know what I mean? Like I'm not thinking it's on her mind at all. She done been with Sarai since she was 5.5. I'm not thinking nothing about it. So for her to write a paper about it, you know what I mean? It made me think, just like you saying, like, damn, what else should I go back to? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what else should I just like double check with all of them to see like, yo, how you feel about this? And like, even how do I do that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I would have never expected me leaving her mom when she was 5 to be something that at this point in time in her life was significant enough for her to write about how she views the world differently as a result.
Right. And that's wild, shocking, and wild. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. 6 years
How did
later.
it might be something. It might be beneficial to check on it from a mental health standpoint and a traumatic standpoint in regards to the whole justice situation too.
Oh, so nigga. So then, it's crazy you say that. So then we went from, she went directly from talking about how it impacted her. She was like, but also justice has a big thing to do with it. And I knew what she was gonna say. And she was like, because I learned a lot at a young age that I had no business knowing as a result of justice. She was like, the things he talked to me about, the things he showed me, I shouldn't have been seeing at all. So, a lot of things that he exposed me to, and I'm just driving, trying to just, be cool and listen. She's like, a lot of things he exposed me to really changed how I looked at people, and I got a lesson on the things that people did really, really young. And I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't even know. And I just had to be like, yeah, well, just take it as a lesson that, it doesn't matter, the age. There are a lot of people out here doing a lot of, crazy things. And, I wish you didn't know a lot of these things, but now that you do know, just let that shape the type of, young lady that you want to be and eventually the type of woman you want to be. And also take it as a lesson of what certain boys and men are like. You know what I mean? And look at some of that behavior that your brother displayed. And if you see it in boys who like you or boys who are just around you, just understand that's something that you want to avoid. And I felt it sucked because I was using her brother, my child, as an example of what to watch out for. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't what I wanted to do. I'd rather be some
Mhm.
random little nigga. You know what I mean? I could really speak. Fuck this little nigga. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about
No.
my son. But and I know the things that she was exposed to are just fucked up. Like he was just fucked up. Like it just there's no excuse. I can't even make an excuse for him as my child. So she went right into that, but she went right into justice. And again, her bringing that up and saying that influenced the paper. It's like he's been kind of out of sight, out of mind, so to speak, in a way.
Mhm.
And I asked if she's talked to him recently or if they've spoken, but I haven't necessarily dove into if his behavior while he was here and the things she saw or was exposed to by him, are still impacting her now. And she's fucking writing a paper. And it's on me
Right.
divorcing her mom and her older brother's behavior, who hasn't been here for a year now. You know what I mean? Shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, that's wild. So that's just a testament to, even, I mean, even if not with children, with our people in general. Sometimes we got to double back on situations and check for the impact that it's had on them.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten over many arguments or whatever, but some people hold on to that or keep those things inside, and now based on the circumstance of that is how they treat other people. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because they're still holding on to that, and eh, I, that's one of the things that we tend to do and not know. Like, so I'll give you another example. I dealt with some insecurity in my past and was constantly questioned about different things, right? So when I would get these questions from new people that I was seeing or dating, it would be like, yo, why are you asking me all these questions? Like, what you mean? Where am I going? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, I just want to
Mm-hmm.
know what you're doing today. You know what I'm saying? But I'm instantly offended because when I got questioned before, it was an accusation.
Nope.
And I wasn't aware I was doing it until it was pointed out. Like, yo, I just want to know what you're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but in my head, I'm like, I hear what bitch you going to go see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and I wasn't aware of it. So I think it's important that we, if not in ourselves, at least in other people, like double back and check how certain experiences. Again, sometimes you don't know. You don't know what you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know it, and I didn't know I was acting like that until it was brought to my attention. So if we can somehow double back on these situations and look deeper than the surface, we might be able to save ourselves from some of the trauma that we carry.
Yeah, man. This shit is it's kind of like aftershocks, bro. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah, that's a
experience
good
the
way to put
big
it.
quake, man, and then these aftershocks show up um in our behavior. And I'm really curious. Like I feel like a lot of us as black men, the hard part once you've been able to identify the quake is learning how to deal with and hopefully eventually prevent any more aftershocks. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like when they come and you have learned behavior that resurfaces again. I think that's something that I've been kind of dealing with in a way. It's like the unlearning the behavior, right? Like getting it out of your system, so to speak, but experiencing small little just aftershocks of reminders that it still is somewhere in the area. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That it could pop up again and show its face, right? So I really look at life as like frequency. Like we say every day to each other, me and Sarai, be the frequency. And it works. It absolutely works. But what happens when you advance and enhance your frequency, your old frequency tries to come in and disrupt that new thing you got going on.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And sometimes, depending on the moment, man, you can allow it to seep in, and all of a sudden you hear a different tune. You know what I mean? And you gravitate toward that tune because it's familiar.
But
So,
that's the ultimate measure of growth, though, when you've found yourself in that situation and that aftershock creeps up on you, and now you are responding completely different. That's
mhm,
the that's the growth.
yeah,
That's the
man. But
shine in it. You know what I'm
but
saying?
what happens when you respond? Maybe not exactly the same, but similar to how you did prior. The growth is there. You
Mhm.
you you have responded differently, but there's still a piece of you that really identifies with that fucking tune. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no. I'm not saying it's gone. The
right.
feeling comes. We just respond differently. You know what I'm saying? Like P, you don't. I'd be ready to slap somebody every day. I'm not even playing. Every
I
day
know
I'm
you're
ready to go.
not, bro.
I'm
You
ready to go
serious
up
as
top on
fuck.
somebody every day. But I respond completely differently than I do before. Like and it's cool because my students see it and they're like, Mister, why don't you ever like you're so mellow all the time? Like, what you want me to come in here yelling at you? Like, I'm not sure what you want here. Like, you come in here upset at because you got yelled at by a teacher, and you screaming at me. Is it fair for me to scream back at you? You know what I'm saying? No. Well, yeah. I'm like, well, and what happens then? Now we arguing for what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I want to be like, who the fuck you think you talking to, little boy? Like, I'm not about to let some 15-year-old talk to me like that. It's funny though. I told the kid today. I said, listen, the way you spoke to me yesterday is inappropriate, and I'm not gonna let any 15-year-old boy talk about that because we was outside. I'm telling you right now, you don't know a nigga that could beat my ass. So watch your mouth. Straight like I told him straight like that. Straight like that.
What do you say?
He didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
He sat back quiet. I'm like, you don't know a nigga that can beat my ass. So watch your mouth. So yeah, the point is like we have these traumatic situations that walk up on us, but we are are capable of readjusting our behavior in those moments in hopes that that trauma doesn't creep back up and cause us to make some poor decisions.
Yeah, and I think it's important too, man, that y'all listen, man, understand that, don't don't give those old tunes too much credit, man. And that's something that I'm happy I'm doing. I used to like, feel like I was growing, and then the problem would resurface. And because I identified with it again and maybe acted upon it in a way or let it absorb me and control my behavior for a split second and snapped out of it, I would automatically say that I relapsed. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like in my mind, if it's not gone forever and never shows its face again, anytime it shows up even a little bit, it's a fucking relapse. And then I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
And
but you're
then I
not
feel like
responsible.
I haven't grown.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what
I
I'm
see what
saying?
you're saying.
Like then it's
Yeah, I
like,
see what you're
fuck, man. Like when this shit showed up again, I was supposed to, Martin Luther King this bitch, not Malcolm X this shit again, like fuck. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the
saying.
I'm
You
still
are
Malcolm, nigga.
100% Malcolm X.
Yeah, nigga, like I'm supposed to be Barton now with this shit, but I'm over here, by any means necessary, this bitch. So I think, we really got to remember, man, like another reason to the why we need therapy is because we need to understand that, these are all natural parts of life. Like that shit is going to come up again. That old tune it's gonna pop up. Or maybe it won't, but if it does, give yourself credit for how long you've gone without it popping up, or give yourself credit for not reverting back and staying in that same space. Like we got to be kind to ourselves. That's another reason why we need therapy, but because we ain't kind to ourselves as black men. We are not fucking nice to ourselves, but
And I'm not going to front. I'm going to say across the board. I'm going to say like 97% of us aren't kind to ourselves.
no, we're not, man.
We
We
might be
will,
hella kind people, but to ourselves, we are not.
nigga, we will suck it up for the check for that boss at work. We will fucking do whatever, nigga, for a woman. You know what I mean? We will suck it up for our children, but then we say the coldest shit to ourselves, man. Like we do not give ourselves enough grace, and then we deal with all the shit the world has, so we be on an automatic defense or offense. You know what I'm saying? Like the world is on me, and this nigga done cut me off, and he look like somebody I can beat up. So fuck it, I'm about to give him this energy. I hope this nigga pop out the motherfucking car because I got that shit under the seat too. Nigga, I'm not losing. Like, and once you go on that road, nigga, you just own. You turned up. And
Right.
I
No,
think, we look for those moments sometimes to release all of that shit that's pent up, man. And therapy will really, really, really help it. And, finding again, I'm a big advocate, man, of not sitting in front of a fucking therapist, but figure out what therapy means and looks like to you. Keep doing some shit that works for you. I love this podcast, but I will never, ever, ever, ever stop recording this shit and talking to y'all niggas. Like, I just won't. I don't give a fuck what happens. I don't give a fuck if we don't make
no.
another dollar, nigga. I don't give a
The-
fuck if we make 1 million. This is my therapy. This is one of the forms of therapy. And we just really gotta identify if listening to podcasts is your shit, then fuck it. If music is your shit, then do it. But acknowledge that it's your therapy and keep pouring into it because you've acknowledged it as your fucking therapy because you deserve that shit, man. Like we all
Mhm.
deserve to feel happy, man. Like permanently happy. They ain't not, it don't gotta come with a check or our kids or our wife or our girl or our homies, but like we deserve to wake up and be by ourselves and be happy.
I 100% agree, bro. I couldn't agree with you more. Listen, man, I know you got to run. We have 50 minutes. I think it's a perfect time to go ahead and wrap it up. I
Yeah,
want to
man.
say to all the people out there who are going through something on today being World Mental Health Day, just know it's gonna be okay. That old adage or that you survived 100% of your most difficult challenges, like you are here. You've been through some tough stuff and you still working, you still going. So keep pushing and it's gonna just make you stronger. I know it's easier said than done, but we gonna be all right for sure. P, go ahead and give us your final thought, B.
I got two things, man. It's well, October 10th, which is World Mental Health Day. And there's a very good chance to anybody, to y'all listening, that absolutely nobody checked on you today. That nobody asked you, are you okay? Nobody asked you how your day was. Nobody asked you how you were feeling. And it is World Mental Health Day.
Right.
Let that sink in and be a reminder as to why it is so important for you to take care of yourself. Because even on my nigga, World Mental Health Day, nobody checked on you. And to those who had somebody check on them, shout out to you. I wonder if they did it because it was World Mental Health Day. You know what I mean? And the chances are they probably did not, you know. But let that just be a reminder to those that applies to why it is so important for you not to wait for somebody else to check on your mental health and you check on your own. My second thought is this, bud. I am so fucking proud of you, bud. I am so proud of how you came up with a plan with this album, man. I am so proud to see you executing this shit. You move so heavy, so silently, but like you move heavy, like really quietly. Like to me, I don't be knowing all the moves you're making, but I always see it. I always see it, but anytime I come to your house, I always see it. Like you've done something or you're working on something. And if I haven't told you, but like how proud I am to watch you on this grind with this Grammy run, man. I want to make sure that I tell you that shit, nigga. Like, I'm really proud of you, bud. Like, I'm really, really proud of how you're adding, and it's a lot of work, man. And you already got a lot of shit on your plate. But how you've chose to take this on, man, and you didn't cheat yourself. You know what I mean? Like you pushing your boundaries, man. You stepping over them motherfuckers. All of your shit is polished and beyond any Grammy shit, man. Just make sure you let this shit do something else for you that ain't got nothing to do with this fucking Grammy shit. Cause take my word for it, nigga. Like it lasts for a minute. You know what I mean? I can only get closer to winning. Nigga, I am a Grammy nominated artist forever, and I am telling you, nigga, it lasts for a minute. Like, I mean, obviously for business, it has leverage, but it's a moment. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
you're seizing this shit, but getting that drop by Killer Mike was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like connecting on niggas is like what the album I love. So that was my only other thought, but like I'm proud of you, man. Like you doing this shit, but you should be proud of yourself. Like for
Yeah,
real,
man.
but like be
I
proud of
want to
yourself,
say,
man.
I want to say, I appreciate you, bro. Like I really appreciate that because I don't remember the last time someone told me they were proud of me, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
being honest. So
Mm-hmm.
it means a lot, and thank you, man. I've been working my ass off, man, and as much as it's for me, like I want to put like as crazy as this sounds, like I want to put the city on my back, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was filming a video just yesterday in the projects, and I asked the little shorties to ride their bikes around the video, get some, some B-roll in the background or whatever. And I was explaining, I'm trying to win this Grammy or whatever. And I was just dropping nuggets on the shore, like, yo, like where we from, we can still do things like this, man. We can
Mm-hmm.
go places. I showed them pictures of us at the Grammys and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, like I was there. Like we can do this. And it just felt so cool to to empower these youngins, man. You know what I'm saying? So if as much as I'm doing it for the purpose of, trying to get this Grammy and expand the craft and so on and so forth, y'all, I really rep where I'm from, and I want these little boys to look at me and be like, he's from where I'm from. If he did it, I can.
Mm-hmm. And just by going for it, you may have just inspired one of them little dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
just by going for it. And I think it's a testimony to, I don't mean to interject your final thought, but I think it's a testimony to how much we cheat ourselves and other people by not trying. Just by not trying. Just saying I'm going for a Grammy. Like niggas, that's not a regular thing to say. Whether you get nominated or win or not. Like saying that is like niggas feel like I came across somebody one day I remember I was riding my fucking bike
Right.
in the projects
Right.
and it was a nigga from here recording a video because he was going for a Grammy and he asked me to be in it. So we rode in a circle. Nigga, those are memories, bro. So when they see a Grammy later on in life and they're older, they're gonna think about that moment. You know what I mean? And that moment is an opposite of the moments we were talking about today.
Right.
It's an opposite feeling. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it's
Yeah.
opposite than Mia remembering that time, you know what I'm saying, and
Hmm.
screaming and shit. It's opposite than, Anaya thinking about, when I divorced her mom. It's a feeling that they're gonna associate with some type of joy, man. So yeah, but shout out to you for doing that shit, man. Go in that
No
shit.
worries. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, man. I thought it was a good episode, and if I'm taking anything away from it, I mean, it's per usual. Like, check on your people
Mm-hmm.
after you've checked on yourself, like they say on the plane. You know what I'm saying? Put your mask on first, then get your people ready. But like, make sure you fit and check on your people because they need it, man. They definitely need it. And if you have an opportunity to look someone in their eyes and tell them you're proud of them, the words go a long way.
Yeah, man.
They go a
Yeah, we
long
all need to
way.
hear it. We
Nah, for
do.
sure. Um, yeah, man. So per usual, y'all, we are on all streaming outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. All social media at All Black Men Need Therapy. We have a voice line 860-410-6160. Hit us up. Shoot us a text message. We respond 860-410-6160. If we can help, reach out and we'll try our best. You can email us at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail, or you can email myself, Bell or Prentice, Chief Bell or Prentice at abmnt.com. And I think that's all we got. So per usual, y'all, do us all a favor and hug a black man today
Do it.
and tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all. Peace.